I guess I should turn on my speaker. Good morning, everyone. I'd like to call the meeting to order for the Lancaster Homeless Impact Commission. Pursuant to Government Code Section 54953E, this meeting will also be conducted telephonically and video streamed live on Channel 28 and the city's website. Roll call. City Clerk, please.
Commissioner Turns? Absent. Sarah's? Latanzi? Absent. Vice Chair Hawley?
Present.
Commissioner Paget?
I'm here.
Commissioner Crabson?
Present.
Chair Tremere?
Present.
We have,
Go
we have
ahead.
a quorum.
Thank you. I will need a motion to excuse the commissioners that are not present, correct?
Commissioner Hearns is present.
Oh, good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, Troy.
Good morning. I can't see anybody, but
So we need a motion to excuse our other, Latanza. Can I entertain a motion from someone?
I second.
Thank you. Do we need to vote on those? No. Okay. All right. At this time, Commissioner Hawley will be providing us with this morning's invocation.
If I could have everyone stand, please. In our country, we're blessed to have different views and points on religion and faith. But my religion is Christ, so I'm going to pray in Jesus' name, and I ask that it doesn't offend anyone. So if I can get you to bow your heads. Father God, we just thank you for waking us all up this morning. We thank you for the opportunity to come together and discuss the concerns of the city of Lancaster as it pertains to homelessness. We ask you that you keep everyone's hearts and minds open so that we can hear and respond in a way that is helpful and youthful. I thank you. In Jesus' name, amen.
Thank you, Nigel. Okay, and probably should remain standing at this time. I'm going to call forward Jackie Owens from Congressman Garcia's office. She's going to lead us in the pledge this morning.
Good morning, everyone. Please put your right hand over your heart and repeat after me. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America
and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Jackie. All right, consent calendar. Approval of regular minutes of September 16. Do we have a motion and a second to approve those minutes?
I motion.
Thank you, Nigel. Thank you, Fran. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Oh, I think we vote here. I forget. We've got this fancy thing, right? Or no? No, we're not doing that. Okay. So we have aye. I know the clerk is taking. Motion passed. Thank you. We have this new system since we were meeting pre-COVID, so we're still getting out the nuts and bolts. Thank you. All right, let's moving on to the agenda. We have two presentations today. Number one, we have our homeless plan implementation grant update from Christina Smith, City of Lancaster. No?
Good morning.
We do. There
Good morning, commissioners.
Good morning.
Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, good morning.
I apologize, I'm not going to be able to be present today, but it is our pleasure to absolutely present this presentation to you. For those who don't know me, for our newer commissioners, my name is Christina Smith. I am the supervisor in the Community Services Division, and I oversee most things surrounding homelessness for our community. In my absence, I'm actually going to have one of our team members, one of our newer team members, present on these particular programs. The programs he's going to speak to are specifically programs focused mostly on prevention and diversion that utilize the grant funds that we have received in the city. His name is Eric Serrano. He has a wealth of experience from community outreach to community service, as well as he is a former employee of the LA County. And so he has quite a bit of information to present to you all. And I know he is well equipped to answer any questions you might have. However, if you do find yourself with a question or something that he cannot address, I will be here to answer any questions that you all have. So without any further ado, I will turn it over to Eric Serrano.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Is it on?
We can hear
Awesome.
you. Good
Great.
morning.
Well, good morning. My name is Eric Serrano, Coordinator 1 for the Community Services here in the city of Lancaster, and it's an honor, privilege to be able to present some of our programming for the past year. Of course, these are going to be programs that have been funded under the utilization of 2018's City's Homelessness Plan Implementation Grant, as well as our Innovation Grant. And so let me see if I can get this clicker to work. There we go. Okay. So on the screen there, you'll see an overview of the programming that took place this year. And so as we move on, we're going to go ahead and break it down. Got to press a little hard on this. Okay. So the first program we'll talk about this morning is the Family as One Interim Housing Program. This program was launched April 2021, and it focuses on providing immediate housing for family units who find themselves in the brink of either homelessness or in the early stages of it. So there's two focal points that we're going to address in just a few minutes, but this program is a two-part project. One of them addressing the interim housing and wraparound services, and the second portion of it, it's the rapid reconnection to permanent housing. As you all know, we're not just trying to get them housed, we're trying to find permanent housing for our community. And of course, the funding that covers that is the 2018 City's Homelessness Plan Implementation Grant, and the innovation funds for the homelessness family housing services portion of the project. Partners that we've been working with are the Antelope Valley Partners for Health, also known as the AVPH, and the People Concern. So looking at the program a little bit more in depth, essentially, as we see here, we are trying to provide housing for family units. This would be us paying full payment for hotels up to 3 months for families, free of cost. And of course, we're providing wraparound services to address the need and to be able to provide to be able to provide the services and case management required or needed so that we can prevent ultimately chronic homelessness. That's exactly what we're trying to do here. Now, the participants must be high functioning and have low acuity scores. And again, so this is really focused on families who are just literally, they just engaged or just fell into homelessness, not families that are chronically in homelessness. And the Antelope Valley Partners for Health, AVPH, and TPC, People Concern are coordinated entry systems. And the second portion of that specific programming has to do with the homeless family housing services. And this is the portion I was speaking on earlier, where we are trying to find them permanent housing. So, again, in point number 1 says housing is fundamental solution to homelessness. However, families require more than just housing. They need permanent housing. So basically what these services include are housing searches, financial assistance, and case management. So this is actively taking place, and that is happening with the second portion of the grant, which is the innovation funds. We'll look at some of the outcomes here. So for this specific program that utilizes both grants, we have had 36 unduplicated number of families that have been engaged. 5 of those have been serviced. And so the gap there, of course, is that not everyone qualifies under the low acuity scores that we're looking for. So we're trying to engage families who just they just need that little push, that little help, and hopefully we'll be able to continue to engage that. And I believe, heartbreakingly, but truthfully, over the holidays and these are the times when that's going to be more brought to light, and so, but thankfully we will have a program to address that.
Pardon me, sir. What can you define acuity, just to inform me? What is acuity?
Sure. So what we're looking for in the families is specifically families that are currently they're capable to sustain a home financially. It's just that at the moment, we have several issues, including the housing market. But essentially, we want to address or find those families who can sustain a job, they can sustain employment, and they are high functioning. So they are again. They have the capacity to work and go out, but they just need those doors. They need that assistance for that brief moment in time. An example to address that would be a family who has been residing in a home for several years, and for unfortunate reasons, the homeowner or landlord decides to place the property on sale, and so they're giving them 30, 60 days, if you would, and so with the market that we currently find ourselves in, that is not a realistic time frame to find a house or a home, and so we come to a family who other than the unfortunate circumstances, has been keeping up with their payments. They've been working. They've been doing what they need to do to sustain a home. But again, we want to come in and support. That's where we step in as the city, and essentially we're really preventing something chronic here from beginning.
If I may just jump in real quick, Commissioner Hearns. So the coordinated entry system provides an acuity score for an individual that as soon as they go into the system, and that number is used to triage that individual or that family and set them up for the right programming, that whatever the next steps look like.
So the higher the score means what? Does that mean that the higher their ability to function?
Yes.
Or
Yes,
higher the
capability.
score, the more risk?
Right.
That is correct.
Yes, the higher the score, the more risk.
Okay.
Do you want, and
Just
so.
to pause for just a moment, I think, go ahead, Carol.
Yeah. The Acuity Score, Commissioner Hearns, is based off of the VI SPDAT that is done. There's a VI SPDAT for adults, families, and then the next step tool for TAY populations. And there's a series of questions to determine what is happening with the individual. And the highest score is 17, with the low score being 0. So a low acuity is under the score of 8, and higher acuity, which means more need, is over the score of 8, with the highest chronic homeless being around the score of 15 through 17.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Commissioner
While we're on this
Crabson.
slide, I was going to hold my question till the end, but since we're here, I'm just going to go ahead, since we're asking questions. On your second bullet, the 5 number of unduplicated families receive services, when you say receive services, do you mean that they were placed in a more permanent interim housing situation?
That is correct,
Yes.
ma'am.
Okay,
Yes.
thank you.
Yes. And so, speaking on that, we are actively working with a few other families that will be joining the program as we speak. And so the end goal is not to find them a hotel. The end goal is that they will find permanent housing. And that's why we move through that second portion of the program, which has to do with the homeless family housing services. And yes, so it has to do with the VSPDAT score. Most of our families, the average score is 3. So just to get an idea on that range. But regardless, whoever comes to us, we 100% make sure that everyone is either sent to the appropriate partners or serviced in any way that we possibly can. No one is denied or pushed away. Any further questions on that? The next program that we'll look at has to do with the Lancaster Connect resource portal. This was launched January 2021. And so it continues to really, it's engaging our new partners still, and it receives approximately, so far it's received approximately 4,000 clicks, which means that we are reaching our community. We are reaching the need. And what we originally were believing was that it would reach approximately 7,500. So that was the number, the 7,500 mark. But just by the looks of it, it looks like we'll be able to reach more than that by the end of the year. So it's definitely doing what it was created to do, which was to reach our community and be a resource. And it's funded by our innovation funds. So some of the important key notes here for the portal is that it gives access to our community, free access to our community to resources, including housing, healthcare, education, training, family services, legal aid, career development, transportation, and food and nutrition. I mean, those are just to name some. So these are hundreds of resources all in one portal, right? And we're hoping that it will continue to not only increase in volume of clicks, but we also are hoping that it will increase in partnerships, so the community really has access to all the resources that are out there. And I think that that's one of the difficulties that's always stood between a community and the services is that there hasn't been access. And so this program really does that. It allows people to have that access. And of course, by doing so, we are mitigating, delaying, or entirely stopping people from homelessness, for the risk of homelessness. That's the key there. You can pull it up online on your phone, your mobile device, or at home, and then, of course, you have access to the resources here in our community. I did mention that we were originally believing for 7,500 visitors, but it's going to be more than that. So we look at some of the outcomes here. Oh, I apologize. It says here at the moment, so we have an 86% increase in our traffic flow. So that is incredible. That's an incredible increase. We're at 3,700. New visitors on the website is 3,600. So you can see that that was a complete increase, 3,700 to 3,600 of new visitors. That was an 86% increase. And then we have, so far, the experience that people have had while going online. There's a system there you can rate your experience. From those who have taken the time to do so, the scores have been 4.1 out of 5 stars, which is good, but we can always do better. So we are continuing our work. Yes.
Quick question. How are you navigating this service if people, the families don't have a computer to be able to get in touch with you? How do you do that? How do you navigate that?
So what is occurring right now, Fran? Hi, over here. So what's been happening is that, so right now the nonprofits or local organizations, they input the information. For those that are case managers and have clients that they want to share the resource with, the case managers, what we're finding is providing them either access to a computer or some sort of technology piece there.
Okay.
But no, not everyone has access if they do not have a phone or technology available to them.
Okay.
But many of them already are in the system with caseworkers through various social service agencies or service providers, so they're assisting them through the process, is what she's saying. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you. And I think to speak on that, that's why we're trying to create our partnerships. That's exactly why, so that our partners have access when unfortunately some families may not. And that way they'll be able to find still the resources. And then on the next point here, you see an average time on page of 1 minute and 16 seconds. And that is actually good because that means that the website is allowing people to find the resource they're looking for without them having to spend too much time on it. So if you go on it now, you'll be able to see that the interface is user-friendly, which is the intention, right? We don't want to make it complex and then people can't access. So it's very user-friendly. You don't need to spend too much time in there. You go on there, average user time 1 minute, 16, and exactly what you were looking for. And so again, we continue to look for partners. You see there, each quarter we've had 8 new partners, not including the original group. So we are continuing to push for that.
May I ask a question?
Yes.
This is wonderful, and I'm wondering, are you able to separate out and see who's accessing, like if it's a community partner, a case manager, as was mentioned, versus somebody that's in the community that may not be connected to services?
Yeah, I think that's more of a complex IT question, which we would not necessarily be able to address at the moment. I believe we will be working on having an access point for our partners. They currently can log into their own site, portion of the site, our partners. But to answer the specific question, not at the moment.
Since we're going to answer questions, let me ask you a question. From the time someone goes to Lancaster Connect to the actual time of receiving services, do you have a time frame?
No, sir, we've not implemented that yet. So that's something that we can definitely be working on. Thank you. We will go ahead and move on to our next slide. I apologize. So the next program we'll address this morning is the Moment in Time Flex Fund resource. The Moment in Time Flex Fund resource was launched March 2021, so fairly recent. Some of the things to just consider with this program, it is currently being pushed through partnerships throughout the AV. This program requires partnership. That's key for everything, working with our community. And again, the financial needs of our community are expected to increase during the holidays. So those are important things to consider as we dive into it. The funding source is the Innovation Funds Grant. And our partners, specific partners with this program, are the Salvation Army. And so a Moment in Time Flex Fund program, it was created to basically supply a one-time limited grant that would resolve a financial need that could potentially lead a family into homelessness. And so the way that I would explain that is that sometimes unexpected expenses happen. This grant was created to address those unexpected expenses. You have a job and you're paying rent, potentially mortgage, but then your car breaks down, and that is an unexpected expense. Most people are living paycheck to paycheck. Not everyone has the privilege of savings, and so this grant, this program is mindful of that. And I'm glad that we are able to really have that in place where we can say, hey, we will cover up to $500 of that expense, and completely take care of the problem. So we try again with this program not to put a Band-Aid on a situation, but to actually solve the expense, the problem. And I gave an example of the vehicle, but there are many expenses that this program could potentially cover. And then again, so it says here, the one-time assistance intends to completely resolve the crisis. The average we've found so far with the families that we've been able to serve, believe it or not, is $250. That is the difference between moving forward and finding yourself in a dilemma with finances, which is a heartbreaking fact that we're finding. And so the next one talks about some of the numbers we have. Again, we are actively pushing this program with our community partners, and we're really trying to make it available to everyone. As mentioned earlier, the expenses, for some reason, things seem to break down more in winter time, and so because of holidays, the expenses go up, and we really want our community to have access to these resources. We've been able to serve 16 families, family units, single parents 5, single adults 14, and our youth 2, people that were experiencing homelessness. That means that if they did not receive these funds, they would have found themselves in potentially a chronic homelessness situation, a total of 18. So we look at the numbers. That is a total of 53 lives, families that we were able to help. And that is what this is all about. And so our partner referrals, those are 10. That has to do, again, with the partnerships that we're continuing throughout the Antelope Valley. And the key word with that is partnership. And we'll move on to the next program. Are there any questions? Yes.
When you're talking about partnership engagement, or is Salvation Army, you said, is operating this particular program, are they attending the care coordination meetings that are happening on a bi-weekly basis?
Yes.
Yes, they are, and we have presented this program to that group before, and we're actually getting ready to roll out here at the top of November another marketing plan for that purpose, to make sure that everyone's aware in the community. The last thing that I'll just briefly mention is that when we started the program, we didn't know what was going to happen with this program. This was a very new program for this community. So we started off with baby steps, and now we're ready to start walking, if that makes sense. So
It does. Is the point of contact the Salvation Army, or can they reach this program through the Lancaster Connect?
So at the moment, the way we've set this up is that the Salvation Army is spearheading the program, and only the key partnerships that we've developed so far, because it's been a program that we have been developing, as mentioned by Melissa. Only key partners are able to, at the moment, refer. But again, we are working on making that available for our partnerships during the next partnerships that will continue. If that makes sense.
Yes, it does. So you said the average family uses $250. Do we have a rough estimate on how much we paid out? And I guess the bigger question is, how sustainable is the program once it's fully rolled out? I.e., what's the size of the grant? How many families can we actually help based upon the average being $250?
Yes, Commissioner. So at the moment, the budget for this specific program is $60,000. So I believe that at that, we'd be able to support a good amount of families.
I have a question. This is Commissioner Hearns. Is this service only for Lancaster residents, or is it Antelope Valley wide?
It is.
Not just one time, but just the whole program. Is it open for the Antelope Valley at large?
No, ma'am. This program is specific to the city of Lancaster residents.
Okay.
I have one quick question. Back in one of the first slides, when we were identifying a family unit as being defined, I mean, we all know we have a huge housing for families crisis. And how are we going to address that? Not just citywide, but statewide, countywide. In one of the first slides, a family unit was defined as one adult and one child. So if someone reaches out to Lancaster Connect online with a parent with more than one child, how are they housed? How is that? I mean, if one family unit is one adult and one child, but a mother has 2 or 3 children, I don't know the answer to that question. I don't know. Maybe Carol, you know. I don't know. How are they housed with a hotel voucher if one unit is just supports? Melissa's going to answer me, I see.
Sure. So I want to just be clear. So the Family Plus One program is not a motel voucher program. That's separate. So this is a very specific program. So we do have families that come in, keeping in mind that it is a hotel. So no, there are some limitations that we have to have there. We have had a family with 3 children come in. We have to make sure that they have the bed available to them. And it just depends. It's really a case by case.
And along that, on definitions of population, on TAY, is that a single TAY individual, or is it in, what is the age range? Because I know with TAY,
The typical age range would be 16 to 24, ma'am.
16 to 24?
Yes.
And if that TAY individual were pregnant or had a child, would they then be classified under family, or would they still be classified under TAY?
Pregnancy, they would still be TAY, but once the child is born, then they'd be classified as a family unit, ma'am.
And is that definition in alignment with all the other service providers that are offering similar programs?
I believe so. Our age group as well is based on county standard. So I believe so, ma'am.
And for
I have one
for
more
other
question
commissioners,
in reference to the, I guess the number of children allowed, and I think that's where I'm really seeking clarity. So if there is a single parent with 6 children, let's say, where would we refer them? Or would they still be accepted into that program?
Hi, everyone. This is Christina. If you guys wouldn't mind, and I want to answer your question, Commissioner Hearns. So the family definition that you all are referring to is specifically for our Family Plus One program. Every other program that indicates family is not one adult and one child. And for our Family Plus One program, it's not one adult and only one child. What it was that we wanted to have a family program. And so for us, we're like, how do you define what a family is? Is a family a brother and a sister who are adults? Is a family 2 cousins together? And so what the group decided that planned this program was that a family has to have a minimum of 1 adult and 1 minor. It does not mean that there can't be 2 adults. It does not mean it cannot be more than 1 child. It just means that in order for it to be considered a family, they have to at least have an adult and at least have a minor child. So from that perspective, you can have an adult with 3 kids, you can have 2 adults with 2 kids, you can have any type of combination as long as we have a minimum of an adult and a minor. Then more specifically, Commissioner Hearns, to your question, we are looking for families as big as we can get them. The challenge is, like Melissa referred to, our hotels will only allow us to have 4 to 5 people in a room. So for this particular program, we only can have 4 to 5 people. So once again, 1 adult, 3 kids, 2 adults, 3 kids, they're all allowed in this program. If we get a family that has more than that, which we have multiple times, we refer them to our other partners who help with housing. Sometimes we refer them to Valley Oasis. Sometimes we refer them to other housing resources. It's just for this particular program, because we're working with our local hoteliers and they have a limit of how many people can be in a room. We only allow between 4 to 5 people. Does that make sense for everybody? Yes. So to be clear, once again, like I said, that definition that you saw on Chair Tremere was only for that program. For this moment in time flex funds, a family pretty much, once again, is any number of children, minors, as well as an adult. Eric did answer the question about TAY correctly as well. They are TAY until they actually give birth, and then at that point, we consider them a family unit.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
So that is my supervisor.
Thank you, Christina. And thank you, Eric. Any more questions? Is that the end of your presentation, Eric?
No, ma'am.
No. Oh, okay.
I'll speed it up. We're almost there.
Questions. No, I'm sorry. We interrupted you. We kind of take the questions as they come. My apologies. Go ahead.
No. So the next program, and we're almost there, is the Good Life Social Enterprise. And so the Good Life Social Enterprise, that launched February 2020, or at least the first cohort. So this program is one of my favorite, is a complete success. And it's being funded under the 2018 Cities Homelessness Plan Implementation Grant in partnership with the Los Angeles Children's Project, the Los Angeles Office of Education, and America's Job Center of California. So the program itself, it's basically seeking to train educate and employ specifically our transition age youth. So that is the age group that this program is addressing, and so the idea behind it is if we can give them the right tools, they'll be able to succeed. And so we're trying to not only give them the tools, but we want to give them a path. And so you'll see here what we do with this specific program. It operates as a business that basically allows them to learn while they work. And they'll be able to also engage the workforce. So they're not just receiving classes, they are actually training, and they're actually working and learning, capacitating themselves. It's a 6-week, the first portion of it is a 6-week internship, 6 weeks apprenticeship, and 6 weeks on-the-job training. It's a full program that's setting our TAE population, that's setting them up for success. So that's what it's all about. We want to get them going forward, give them the right tools. We have had currently on our fourth cohort at the moment. So the first one was February 2020, the second one October 2020, third one March 2021, and the most recent one started in August. And so this two fields, that they've been engaging in this specific program is the manufacturing field and then automotive. So those are solid skills that they can take out into the real world. And again, we're not trying to find them a part-time job. We're not trying to find them not even an entry-level job. We want to set them up in a career path. And it's been a successful program. As you'll see, apologize. As you'll see here in some of the outcomes that we've had, we have had 36 participants enrolled in our program. 33 of them were placed in internship and apprenticeship, and 32 of them actually went ahead, moved forward into the on-the-job training. Some of those numbers are there's a gap between them because some of those students actually got hired before even completing the entire program. We've only had one student thus far, if my numbers are correct, only one that was not able to complete the program. So 30 of them found permanent employment, and these are these are incredible numbers. It's just the beginning of the program, but it's a great program here. 34 clients requested supportive services. So what that means is that out of the group that started, 34 of them requested that we would continue to engage with them and continue to provide services, in other words, support. So we continue to with our partnerships, they continue to provide that access to them and that support to them. So it's not like, here, I hand you off the baton, now go. There's still support there. And 36 of them, so 34 requested it and 36 got the support. So 2 of them didn't request it necessarily, but they still got it. And that's exactly the goal there.
Good. All right.
And I still have one more.
One more? Okay.
One more. Okay, the last one. And here are some pictures of the students. So that's awesome. Okay, the last program that we'll discuss with regards to the grants here is the Wellness and Enrichment Program at Kensington campus. And then this program is funded under the 2018 Cities Homelessness Plan Implementation Grant. and direct partnership with the people concerned. And so, yes, this program is being spearheaded out of the Kensington campus. And essentially, what we're doing with the program, we are providing resources to our interim residents there. So we want to provide our interim residents also the tools to develop themselves and give them an opportunity to grow. We understand that homelessness is real, it's tragic, and it has an effect on the mind of our community, and so they need all types of resources so that they can heal, and that's exactly what we want, and at the same time to give them tools and equip them to go on. So it says the program focuses on a variety of health, personal, and professional development programming, so the program is designed to engage the community by building relationships. So we're engaging the community by having them build relationships and be receptive to our interim residents. So when they are headed out, they can also experience success. That's what we want ultimately, right? So basically what you'll see here on the last point, in collaboration with our partners, these members of these interim residents, they will go ahead and in a group setting receive medical, mental health, and vocational services. Now, the next slide, this is where it's all at, this right here. So they receive these services in order to, and here we have it. The program makes available 12 positions that are stipend pay, $80 a month. That is a life changer for our community that is living in homelessness. So this allows them really to grow, and they get the $80 stipend pay. Some of the fields that they're learning to grow in and to work in are food preparation. So we're currently putting them to learn, to work. Food preparation, post-meal cleanup, landscaping and grounds, and then they're also assisting with the donations closet. So it's sort of just a resource of clothing. It's a little store that they have there where they can support their community members. So again, these are tools that we're giving them access to growth and development and job opportunities ultimately, right? Because that's what we want to give our community who is in homelessness. And again, the bottom last point here, the stipend positions increase individuals' income and provide them with experience which can assist them obtain a traditional employment, which is ultimately the end goal. The outcomes are 222 unduplicated clients have participated in the Wellness Groups program. On average, 12 unduplicated clients have participated in each wellness group. So the 222, right? But the groups are divided. They're an average of 12 participants per these wellness groups. We've had 43 groups, 1,328 clients surveyed. So that's a large number right there that we have reached out to. And the last 2 points here, the 4 program offerings via public-private partnerships, and essentially what that just means is that, again, partnerships. We are trying to have partnerships with our community so that we can prepare our interim residents to enter the workforce potentially and to rejoin our community. And that is the end goal of all this, that they will be a part of our community.
Eric, on this program, what is the acuity rate for the individuals that are able to participate? Is this open to all ranges, high acuity, low acuity, or is there a specific population that can participate?
This is open to anyone who would want to join and is willing to be a part of the program.
Wonderful, thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Eric, I am so happy to hear that you have this program to be able to train these people, that a lot of them, that are homeless, and because they're homeless, have become homeless because they've lost their jobs and have no other training. And I've been advocating for skill training, and especially for the young people that are coming out. And I thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Eric, anybody have any more questions for Eric? Eric, that was a great presentation, a lot of wonderful information. I would like to request, yes, Angela's giving you a clap. And Christina, thank you. This was very thorough. I would like to request the PowerPoint presentation, if we could get that emailed to us. It wasn't in our handout, so that would be great to have that. Excellent. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, very good.
Thank you so much. I also would request of the city staff to schedule something for us to go visit the campus. We haven't been over there for a while, so we'd like to go and visit the Kensington campus.
Absolutely. Thank you, Commissioner.
Thank you, Eric. It was an excellent presentation.
Thank you,
Can
ma'am.
I also ask you, on this presentation that you're bringing and the community that you're doing now, can I volunteer to be in that committee and help and do whatever I can with?
Melissa.
I'm sorry, which program did you want to
The
volunteer?
program that the department that you're speaking of now that you're doing, I would like to participate in it if I may.
Oh, absolutely, yes. So I can connect with you offline and we
Yeah,
can schedule
please.
some time.
Good, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you again, Eric. Okay, presenter number 2. We have the 2022 Homeless Point End Time Count. Presenter Heather Barton from LASA with us today. Good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
Good, how are you?
Good.
Good morning.
All right. Okay. Can we go back to the first slide? There it is. Hello, and thank you for inviting me to provide an update on the 2022 Greater Los Angeles Homeless Count. My name is Heather Barton, and I'm the Community Relations Coordinator for Service Planning Area, or SPA 1, with the Los Angeles Homeless Service Authority, or LASA. Homeless count data is key to understanding demographic changes and for the allocation of resources to address the homelessness crisis. The homeless count data captures changes in the populations experiencing homelessness, informs program design and policies to address the crisis, informs funding decisions. It is crucial to humanize the issue of homelessness. That is why we are always conscious that behind any number there is a person with their own unique story and circumstances. Homeless count purpose and data uses. LASA conducts the Greater Los Angeles Homeless Count on an annual basis to regularly capture data on the scale and characteristics of homelessness, as well as inventory of available housing in Los Angeles County. The homeless count is part of a nationwide effort to enumerate the homeless population, take inventory of the housing stock available to them, and provide the federal government with a better understanding of the region's state of homelessness. The U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development, or HUD, requires a biannual point-in-time, or PIT, count of unsheltered persons and an annual PIT count of sheltered persons during the last 10 days of January, as well as a housing inventory, or HIC, count that takes inventory of the beds and units available to serve persons experiencing homelessness. While HUD requires a count of unsheltered persons to be conducted every 2 years, LAHSA conducts a count each year to stay up to date on the number of characteristics of unsheltered persons. As you know, we were unable to conduct the street count this past year due to COVID-19. This coming year, we are working to establish the necessary safety precautions for community members to stay safe when they volunteer. Also, we were working with our statistical and demographic consultant, USC, to make some changes that will improve the experience for our volunteers and site coordinators. LAHSA will help its volunteers and partners by employing a multifaceted methodology that includes the street count, youth count, shelter count, housing inventory, or HIC count, and demographic surveying is conducted with unsheltered persons to derive the characteristics of persons counted. Each component of the homeless count plays a central role in producing a reliable and detailed profile of people experiencing homelessness on a given night or day in SPA 1 in Los Angeles County. In 2020, we did a full enumeration which included counting our unsheltered homelessness. There were 41,000 in the city of LA and 66,000 people experiencing homelessness in the county of Los Angeles. These estimates are from 2020, so it is important that we conduct the 2022 homeless count to obtain more recent information about our unsheltered neighbors. For Service Planning Area 1 in 2020, we had 4,755, which was a 44% increase from the numbers in 2019. The 2022 homeless count will happen on January 25th, 26th, and 27th. This slide provides the exact date for each service planning area, with January 27th being the date for our community. For 2022 homeless count, we are excited to share that we are launching a new mobile app to support data collection. The Aikido Connect app will be available for download on the Apple App Store and Google Play App Store and accessible on Apple and Android smartphones. The app is designed specifically for LAHSA's annual homeless count, informed by the extensive insights and feedback of LAHSA staff, community advisors, and past volunteers. The app allows users to find their current location on the map, navigate to their assigned census tracts, and collect precise count information throughout their assigned areas. Individuals and dwellings that are eligible to be counted will be tallied to the app in a similar way as on paper. Route tracking allows the app to collect more precise data, dropping a pin in the locations where counts are collected. App allows users to trace streets counted, preventing double counting and ensuring entirety of census tracts that are covered. The app helps facilitate communication between volunteers and deployment sites, letting users share information about areas that need to be revisited and recounted. Data collection allows deployment site coordinators to view volunteers' progress throughout the night, or in SPA 1's case, morning, in near real time. We're actually in this area for SPA 1, we're doing a pilot for this app before the actual count, and that will be happening next week with specialized teams of outreach workers. Due to COVID-19, a waiver was granted to LAHSA as the continuum of care lead by HUD, and the street count, youth count, demographic surveying was not conducted to ensure safety of volunteers, key partners, staff, and people experiencing homelessness. To ensure the safety of our volunteers, we have a couple of COVID-19 safety measures, including providing personal protective equipment, or PPE, requiring volunteers to follow public health guidelines, including using hand sanitizers, masks wearing at all times, and practicing social distancing. Staying home if they feel ill on the day of the count, or if they come in contact with anyone who tested positive. We are encouraging volunteers to be vaccinated before the count, but are not requiring it, nor are we asking to show proof of a negative test result. We invite you to volunteer for the 2022 homeless count. There are a number of ways to volunteer for this count. One way to volunteer is as a deployment site coordinator, particularly if you have experience with the homeless count. You can play a bigger role as a deployment site coordinator or assist in your community. We will be training all new and veteran deployment site coordinators early January. You can also participate as a volunteer who will be part of the counting teams. We are encouraging people to form their homeless count team by bringing a safe partner to increase protection from potential exposure to others. We will provide trainings on how to count and how to use the app. There will be an opportunity to try out the Aikido mobile app, and that will be provided before the day of the count. If you can't come as a team, you are still encouraged to participate as an individual, and we will provide additional safety precautions. To register, you can sign up at theycountwillyou.org. We have several resources and promotional materials for the Homeless Count 2022. Frequently asked questions on the homeless count and the new mobile app are available on our website. There's outreach materials. We will have some training tools posted as well, and you can access the promotional video that you can share with your networks. Please visit our Homeless Count website for these and other resources at theycountwillyou.org. To wrap up the presentation, I want to share some important contacts. If you have general questions regarding the homeless count, please contact Clementina Varan, the senior advisor to the count. If you have any questions related to statistical and methodological topics, please contact Stephanie Wolhan, data and research manager at LASA. For the additional questions, I'll be your contact for Service Planning Area 1. My name and email is on this slide. It's hvarden@lasa.org. Thank you for your time and interest in supporting the 2022 Greater Homeless Count. And I look forward to seeing everyone I look forward to seeing everyone here January 27th, counting our neighbors experiencing homelessness. Please visit our page to sign up your team as we familiarize yourself with the tools to be used for the count. Once again, the website is theycountwillyou.org.
Thank you, Heather. I think it was a great presentation, lots of good information. I do have a couple of questions.
Sure.
How and who selects the actual time to conduct the count?
So that's selected by HUD. It will be on January 27th at 6 a.m. for Service Planning Area 1.
Okay. And then I have a concern because of the time that the count is being conducted. Are we accurately determining how many people are out there? Not just the time, but I also have a bit of a concern about when the count is conducted, because here in the Antelope Valley, it gets really cold during the winter, and in January particularly. So a lot of our population may have migrated only to return when it starts to warm up. So
the shelter count is done the same time as the unhoused count, and it is done in January specifically when it is cold to get an accurate number of people that are on the streets. So if it is really cold, we're not going to be double counting people that are in the shelter as long as people on the streets, because that is historically when more people seek shelter at that point.
Oh, that was my question.
Does that answer your question?
Well, one more question.
Okay.
I don't know if this one can be answered. But in SPA 1, is there any way we can determine what percentage of SPA 1 is in the city of Lancaster?
Yes, we do have those numbers. It's broken down, after the count, it'll be broken down by the census tracts. And so we do have accurate numbers of Lancaster. I don't have them with me right now from the 2020 count, but I do have those numbers available that I can follow up with you on those. And then also to address your other question as far as the time and this area. So Service Planning Area 1 is a little bit unique compared to the other service planning areas in that it's the largest geographic location. So in this area, more than other areas, we use a lot of special teams. And those special teams are usually comprised of outreach workers, sometimes law enforcement, sometimes different cities, code enforcement or public safety that are in the areas already where people are experiencing homelessness. So a lot of the count, if it's off-road or rural areas, they're done by special teams that know a little bit more what to look for and that type of stuff.
Do they go out at that same time in the morning? Or
Yes.
It's separate, okay.
They all go out at the same time. In the 2020 count, we got very accurate information because we did also pair with the LEAPS plane to get aerial views. And as far as I know, we will be doing that for this count as well.
Well, I know I'm going to need the mobile app training. Anybody that knows me well? Because I'm looking at it and I'm overwhelmed. I'm like, where's my clipboard? Like we've done it before. Heather, so you want people that reach out to us that want to volunteer for the count day, you want us to direct them directly to the They Count website, not you directly, or
yes.
either?
TheyCountWillYou.org is the best place.
Okay.
And this year especially, we will be having the majority of the count will be done by specialized teams, but we will have we have our 3 deployment sites set now for this area. In the past, we've done about 9 deployment sites. This year with COVID, the app and safety concerns because of some of the marijuana grows,
Right.
we'll be using more specialized teams and having 3 deployment sites.
Oh, good. That's good to hear.
One more question, I'm sorry.
Sure.
And then Carol. So if the city wanted to count during the summertime or when the homeless population appears to grow in the area, how would we go about trying to get a count?
So are you looking for a separate point in time count or the numbers that we might be able to get available through the homeless information management system
A separate
in a given
point
month?
in time count.
Separate point in time count. I'll have to follow up on that, and I can get you an answer to that question.
Okay.
Would you be looking for just Lancaster or Service Planning Area 1?
Primarily Lancaster, but Service Planning Area 1 would be great
Okay.
as well.
All right, I'll ask.
Yeah, I mean, I guess we could do a city separate. I mean, if you wanted just the city-specific numbers, but, okay.
Thank you, Brenda.
You're welcome.
Heather, that was a great presentation. Could you tell us what the 3 deployment sites are? And I just want to say, I've gone out, and yes, it's chilly, and I do love the clipboards too, Donna. But if you really want to get a firsthand experience of how homeless are living and in our spa and the uniqueness of it going way out into the desert, this is a really good opportunity to learn so much about our homeless populations, and I encourage you to sign up.
So the 3 deployment sites, 2 will be for special operations teams. Those 2 locations will be at the city of Palmdale, 1 at Antelope Valley Partners for Health. The 1 for public volunteers will be at Antelope Valley College.
Great. Does anybody have any more questions for Heather today? No? Heather, thank you. That was great. Thank you for joining us today.
And I do want to add one more thing for volunteers.
Sure.
I don't think I mentioned it in the presentation. Service Planning Area 1, because it is a larger geographical area, we do a driving count and not a walking count. So we are encouraging volunteers to be in groups of 2 that can be in the same vehicle for safety reasons because of COVID.
One more quick question. What's the length of time that you're out there taking the count? From 6 o'clock in the morning till what time?
Most teams usually make it back between 8 and 10 a.m. unless there's something else that.
Just 2 hours?
It's just 2 hours, but then we do allow the entire day to go back for any counts, any tracks that were missed. The way we did it in 2020, we would use the GPS coordinates that we got from LEAPS and then send teams that had those tracks, we would let them know, hey, you might want to look here, just go verify that that's a homeless encampment and not desert dumping or something like that.
Oh, okay, good.
You have a specific street area.
Okay, well, then maybe I can volunteer because I could drive a little bit.
Okay.
I can't walk that much, but I can drive.
Yeah, it's usually 2 to 4 hours for volunteers. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Heather.
Thank you, Heather.
Okay, it's that time for business from the floor. City Clerk, your announcement. I don't have any cards here in person for the first time ever. Do we have anybody online? We have no public comment today? Well, there you go. We had two great presentations, a lot of great information. Thank you so much, presenters, today. Are there any other comments from anyone on the commission?
I agree with you. They're both great presentations, and I'm happy to hear a lot of things that are happening. Thank you very much, and God bless you.
I would also like to say that I am really thankful to hear of the holistic approach in addressing homelessness, because there are extenuating issues such as mental health concerns, substance abuse, and all the other things that are tied into homelessness. And so I'm just glad to hear that people are tapping into those avenues to address our neighbors. And I really love that the numbers are reflective of our neighbors. I love that part. So great job, and thank you.
Thank you, Angela.
And thank you. I think both of you guys did great jobs. Lots of good information. Make sure we get that copy of that PowerPoint,
Yes,
because that's
please.
going to be good for us to have, and we get the tour schedule.
Yes.
Okay. With that, our next meeting is scheduled for Thursday, November 18th, 10 a.m., and I will call this meeting adjourned.